So
So
I got something I want to recommend.
yeah, let's hear it.
Electric scooters.
Woo!
So we don't have them up here in Canada, and I
It's
think
too
there's two
cold.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think number one is it's cold. I mean, you can only use the scooters when it's nice out. Now, up until 2 days ago, we could have been riding around on scooters because whatever snow we had was gone within days. But man, we had a dump, a
Oh.
huge amount of snow. In fact, yesterday I couldn't get out of my garage without shoveling first because we had had about a foot and a half of snow and it was up over the bumper of my Corolla. So what is that, a foot and a half? Maybe even 2 feet of snow.
Holy
So
cow.
yeah, it was a lot to be dumped all at once. So you definitely can't be taking electric scooters through there. So Dan, have you used an electric scooter?
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, but they're expensive and they're obnoxious. I mean, we've talked about them a little bit before. They're just kind of junky. I mean, they're everywhere here in
Yeah,
Los Angeles. They're just on people's lawns. They're next to schools. They're just dumped everywhere. Now, the nice thing about it is if you're anywhere, there's one close to you because there's so many of them littered all over the city. And
yeah,
what's frustrating is a lot of the towns have bylaws where you cannot use a scooter in a park that's electric. You can't use it on a bike path. You can't
yeah,
use it on the beach. You can't use
yeah,
it anywhere. So basically, the only place that you're allowed to use it is on the road, which is, in my opinion, extremely dangerous. Now, they do
yeah.
have lights on them at night, which I like. But when you're driving on the road, not every city has a bike lane for you to be in.
Hmm.
And what if somebody opens their car door when you're, scooting past? You're gonna get hooked, and it really could happen. So one night, some friends and I from Canada, we just all thought it would be fun to rent one. Now, here's something interesting about these scooters: is you
Yeah.
have to be an American citizen because it asks for your American driver's license. Now, my friends from
Ah,
Canada, they all tried to use their Canadian licenses and it
no.
would not work. So they all had to use mine, which was fine. They just paid me back, but it's not cheap. I thought,
What if you don't have a driver's license?
you
Can't.
can't use it. I
Ah,
maybe there's a way, but
yeah,
the real simple way to set up was like scan in your driver's license.
yeah,
And then my friends that didn't have a local license couldn't do it.
yeah,
So that's not to say there isn't another way around it. I'm not sure there probably is, but that's step one. Number two, it was expensive. I mean, if you catch an Uber for a couple miles, it's like $4 or $5. You
yeah.
split an Uber, even cheaper. This scooter, I had it for maybe 15 minutes and it was like $6. And I barely
Really?
went anywhere because there was all these stoplights, and I
Yeah.
mean, it just didn't seem economically, it didn't make sense to me at all.
So I actually did a little bit of research on this, and it didn't seem very expensive at all. What I found is Lyme, for example, charges $1 and then 15 cents per minute. So
Okay.
I guess it depends how long you had it under your name. So maybe when you're done, like if you're just whipping around downtown and you just want to get somewhere quick, it might be pretty cheap as long as you figure out how to get it off of the ticker, right? That's going
Maybe.
15 cents every minute. And so I actually had a question for you. Like, if these scooters are all over the lawn, like, how does Lime or Bird or any of the others know where their scooters are?
It's GPS located. And
Okay.
it's pretty cool. There are actually people that, as a side hustle, will take trucks
Yeah.
and they'll just load up the back of the
Just
truck
pick them
with,
up.
and they'll pick them up and then they'll plug them in and they'll make money that way because Lime will pay them. But I don't know about you, but every time I put my air conditioning on in my house,
Mm-hmm.
it's like literally $5 a day to do that. So I mean, it's not cheap here in Southern California to plug anything in.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you've got solar on your house, I think it's a terrible idea to plug these into your house and expect that you're going to make more money that way.
Oh, so they
Um,
plug them into their own homes?
Correct. Yeah, and they're
Ooh.
incentivized by, charging them because Lime doesn't want to go around and charge them all. They say you
No.
charge them, we'll pay you. But either you're living at your parents' home and your parents don't know what you're up to in the backyard, hooking all these scooters up to their power grid, or you've got
Or your neighbor?
solar power, yeah, or your neighbor, or maybe a public, I don't know, but I don't think it's a good deal.
Yeah.
And even when I was using the scooter, I didn't feel like it was a good deal. It was $5 for that little amount of time, $5 or $6,
Yeah.
and we really didn't get anywhere. And it was dangerous because I didn't have a helmet with me. I mean, who
Yeah.
carries a helmet with them?
Nobody.
No.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So first of all, I think these scooters, if you went out to buy them yourself, they're about $500 a scooter.
Right.
So I was just trying to understand the business model a little bit. If Lyme spends $500 on a scooter, then they're probably going to need 50 rides or so until they pay off the scooter, let alone make any money. And plus, they're paying people to pick them up. They just leave them all over the lawns. Like, I was just really wondering if the business model is working. Obviously, it is, because here's some interesting statistics. Lyme has logged over 20 million rides.
Wow.
20 million. So let's just say the average is $5. You spent $6, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's
right?
a lot of money. It is.
And
But it's a fad, Matt. Like it's like pogo sticks. Everyone had them and now nobody has them.
nobody has a pogo stick.
I'm telling
But
you,
hula hoops are still around. They're just not crazy.
barely. I'm telling you, these aren't practical. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
Because they really have a good kick.
Yeah.
Like I was worried to go the full speed without a helmet on. I mean, I was, in the streets of Santa Monica on a street, not on a bike path. And, I tried to go full throttle and it was way too fast. Someone could have opened their door and hit me, and someone could have swerved or tried to turn right into my lane. There were so many things that could have happened that it just was not wise. And
so let's talk about that. Let's talk about how dangerous these things are. So I also did a little bit of research, and it turns out that in California, it's illegal to ride these things without a helmet, at least until, let me just see here. It's just been repealed. So Bird is, I think, the second biggest one out there, and they've logged over 10 million rides. They lobbied the government to repeal California's electric scooter helmet law.
And
so they did. It's successful. So right now, it's still illegal to wear a helmet, to not wear a helmet. But I think in January of 2019, thanks to Bird, you don't need to wear a helmet. But who does anyways, right?
Well, that's crazy because someone was telling me the other day that cops are pulling people over and writing them tickets for not having helmets.
Because they can right now.
And they were writing tickets for them being in public parks, on bike paths, on all these places where they shouldn't be. And it's funny, this was me being responsible, but I see people all of the time on sidewalks that are extremely dangerous because there's old ladies walking and they're zipping by them on a sidewalk.
So are they not allowed on a sidewalk?
No, they're not allowed on a sidewalk.
Because every picture I've seen online, they're on sidewalks.
Well, it's like a bike's not supposed to be on a sidewalk, right? Like if you're on a bike, you're on the road, right? You're in the bike lane.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. And this thing has a motor, so if you're heading towards grandma, you're going to hit her and it's going to hurt because you're going fast.
And just think about hitting walls. So here's another thing that I researched on these things. They're averaging, this is the guess, 1,000 emergency room visits per month.
Really?
Yes, 1,000 per month. And then they listed like the types of injuries that they're seeing. Now, California is recording these things, but they're all over the place. They're not just in California. Like I think Dallas has them as well. And
Austin,
yeah. And so apparently a lot of people are hitting walls, right? Like they just get going too fast and then they'll hit a wall. Well, you're going to want a helmet, right? There was an interesting quote in here. Let's see if I could find it, where they were talking, it goes, if you hit the ground at 20 miles per hour on a scooter or a baseball bat hits your head at 20 miles per hour, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
So wear a helmet. And then I guess Lyme and Bird are both trying to give away free helmets because it's like bad PR, right? Where these
where are you gonna
don't
put it?
come with helmets.
I mean, are you gonna just wear a backpack everywhere?
And just take your helmet with, and you're not going to put a helmet with the scooter because then you got head lice and gross,
Yeah, you would never put it's not going to work. Mark my words, in 5 years, this is over because it's a fad. And people think it's fun now, but it really isn't cheap enough to replace Uber, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would like to do with it, I was just thinking last time I was in San Francisco, we wanted to go to Pier 39 and you were way down in the south and I was way down in the north and we were trying to find each other, remember all that? I mean, if one of us had a scooter, we probably could have
Faster.
gone a lot faster. So like as a tourist it might be kind of nice, but that's about as far as I would go.
This is a step below a Segway as being creepy and weird, and you're not even exercising.
No, you're not exercising at all. And by the way, Segway makes these things.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
that's
do.
not
Yeah,
surprising.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think Limes are all Segway. Maybe, maybe not. I remember when I was reading it, somebody out there, either Lime or Bird, mostly has Segways. And Lime is now designing their own scooters. So they're going to
Cool.
get into the production of them, and that's probably going to save them a lot of money in the long run. But I'm kind of with you on this one, Dan. I think it is a fad. And I think it's dangerous. I think it's going to be shut down because of the danger. I mean, think about these scooters, just the maintenance of them, right? Who's making sure the brakes work? Who's making sure that the steering works? Like, you've got that issue, plus people who probably shouldn't be on them at all. They say you shouldn't weigh any more than 220 pounds. That's
Oh,
on
for sure. I've seen
Lime's
some people
website.
bigger than that. Yeah.
Yeah, like 220 pounds. Dan, I'm 190. That's not much more than I am, right?
You're skin and bones.
Little skin and bones on a scooter. So I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I'd be interested to see if they made an IPO though. I wouldn't invest.